In this video, I'm going to show you how to disassemble a toilet and replace all the seals, typically known as a tank to bowl kit. Now, before we do anything on the toilet, you always want to make sure that the water is off. If you fail to do so, you can flood the house easily. So always go to the water stop, and you want to turn it clockwise till the water's off. Now to check and make sure that that worked, you want to flush the toilet and hold the lever down until all the water comes out. If it doesn't fill back up, it's shut off correctly. Now, when that happens, the first step would be to never use tools on this part. By hand, loosen up this flex line. Now, if it's too tight that you can't do it by hand, you can use a tool to get it off. Never use a tool putting it on, because doing so can put stress on the nuts and they can tend to crack and flood your house. If you don't feel comfortable with this part, call a licensed professional. The only way to take the tank off from the bowl, which is necessary for most repairs, is this bolt right here, and there's one on the other side. Most toilets only have two, some have three, but for the most part it's universal. You would loosen it up. Now the same to the other side. This way you can get a really good view of what it is that we're doing. Now there is a nut, a metal washer, and sometimes a rubber washer. Just kind of helps so that way if you over tighten, it does not crack the toilet. Remove the nut and washer from both sides. If you can't get the rubber washer off, they'll come off when you pull the tank up. Now that you've loosened up the bolts, you just gently rock it side to side. The rubber gaskets fell off, that's no problem. And now you've removed the tank from the bowl. And you can see the tank to bowl gasket, bolts with the gaskets, the fill valve, and the inner part of the flush valve with the flapper. Now, when you're changing the tank to bowl gasket, you'd reach here and you just pop the seal off the flush valve. Now you can see the flush valve and the nut that holds it on. Here is the tank to bowl gasket and the tank bolts. You can just kind of wiggle them until they pop out, and then reach through the other side to pull them out. Now that you've got the toilet stripped apart, you want to clean any surface areas where a gasket might touch. If it's already clean, then you're ready to move forward. As always, if you don't feel comfortable, call a licensed professional or give us a call for any questions, or you can leave a comment below. Now, you take the bolt that you see, and these are the tank bolts, and they have a gasket that slips on them. Slip that gasket all the way to the top. Do the same for the other side. And these bolts are ready. Now, for the tank to bowl gasket, usually it has little grooves that line up with the nut. If it does, just pop it on in place. And then when it's in, you're ready to put in the tank bolts. Now, you would push in the new tank bolts with the new seals. Shove them through till they're in place. Sometimes the kit comes with an extra nut and washer that you can place on here and tighten it up to get the bolt really snug to the tank. If it doesn't come with it, you don't need it, it just kind of helps. Now that you've replaced the seals, take the tank, line the bolts up with the toilet, set it down gently. That's when you take your washer, slide it up first, and then the nut, and you would tighten it up until it is snug by hand. You don't want to use a tool yet until you get both sides completely snug. Now that we have the tank in place and the nuts and washers are snugged up hand tight, take a crescent and you want to get it fitted on there. And you just want to keep tightening up both sides back and forth until the tank rests onto the bowl or until the toilet becomes sturdy. Once you've done that, you're almost complete. After you've got them both snugged up, you just take the flex line, tighten it up by hand only. Do not use any tools. By hand only. When that's done, slowly turn the water on to the toilet. And when you've done so, check for leaks. When it's done filling, flush the toilet. And if there are any leaks, it would probably come out right here or under the bolt. If you don't have any leaks there after about 2 or 3 flushes, then you did a good job. When you can, try to leave these things to licensed professionals, but if you think you can handle the task, this is how I would do it. As always, you can look us up at precision-plumbing.com or call us with any questions at 469-248-2136.